Have you read the
I kinda wanted
Constitution?
to hear what you have to say.
Have you read the Constitution?
Of course I have, sir. I took an oath to the Constitution.
Okay, can you tell me where it says that the president can freeze congressionally passed
It
funds?
doesn't, because it
Okay,
doesn't say.
so why did Trump do it?
Because he can do that.
Okay. Tim,
Fucking serious.
Tim, are you a Trump supporter?
No, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I voted for Trump because I didn't like Kamala's policies.
That makes no sense.
No.
Everybody,
Okay. No. All right.
Well, can you agree
See?
with me that you don't have to be a supporter of someone to still, vote for something that you like?
C and Echo, I need you to not talk. This is going to be a one-on-one thing. If I hear you talking, if I hear you cutting in, I will kick you. You can come up after that.
I
Okay.
appreciate that, host.
Yeah. So,
Because most of the time I come up on these panels just like 3 people attack me, so I
yeah,
appreciate
that's
that.
I'm trying to, keep everything one-on-one, but okay. So, as to if I think you can be a Trump supporter without or while voting for Donald Trump, I think you are necessarily a Donald Trump supporter and that you supported Donald Trump in the 2025 election or in the 2024 election. So
Right, but I wouldn't say I'm like
necessarily.
MAGA, is what I'm trying to like say. I'm not hell bent on Donald Trump. Like I'm not gonna get down on my knees for him or whatever. But I simply voted for him because I did not believe Kamala was gonna do much of anything. To be honest with you, I mean she was the vice president.
Okay, sure, but can you also acknowledge that your vote means the same thing as those MAGA people that you want to distance yourself from?
Yeah, but I think I'd agree with you there. Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to say though, there's a lot more middle ground Trump supporters or like moderate
sure.
Trump supporters than there are far MAGA. I'd say.
Was the only reason that you voted for Donald Trump because you thought Harris would be ineffective, or was there anything in particular that you liked about Donald Trump?
Yeah, I mean, I just like Donald Trump, kind of, in the sense that he could actually get something done, or like he was respected by others. Now I know you may think that sounds ridiculous, but I can explain further if you'd like.
I agree. Well, okay. I can see why you would think. I'd like to take it one point by point. So let's
Sure.
let's stick on the get things done thing, because I think you're partially correct and I think you're partially incorrect. So when you say, he can get stuff done, if we're talking about within a presidential role or a typical presidential role, I don't agree. I think he's very historically bad at rallying Congress, both sides, to try and get any meaningful piece of legislation done. I don't think he's particularly a good negotiator. I think he gives away a lot of stuff without really talking much. You can look at his negotiations with Russia and Ukraine, where he's basically just planning on giving away all of Ukrainian territory to Russia. That doesn't necessarily make a good negotiator to get an unjust deal quickly. You're giving away all of the cards on the table for quick peace. I don't think that makes you a good negotiator. I don't think that makes you effective.
Well, hold on. That's not necessarily what the deal was, though. Let's remember, it's a ceasefire, which means we're just going to stop, gunfire from happening. I don't know if I could say that, but
yeah, no, it's okay. I'm not super strict on the language. If I get taken down, I get taken down.
Yeah, but I'd agree with you that maybe giving away land isn't in our best interest, or maybe Ukraine's best interest, but we also have to look at the people that live in that region. So I'm sure, as you know, the east of Ukraine that Russia mostly occupies at this time has historically identified themselves as the Russians. They haven't really pieced themselves as Ukrainians. I'm sure some there, but
so I would say I would
the East Ukraine has been Russian, has identified as Russian for a long time. I mean, there's been interviews where media people will go actually out there and they'll do talk to the civilians out there and they're like, well, we don't mind Russia, we don't like the way it went down, but we are Russian at the end of the day. Our grandparents, what have you, have been here forever.
So the first thing I would say to that is that the ceasefire that we're talking about between Russia and Ukraine does necessitate Ukraine giving up Ukrainian land to Russia, even though that Russia invaded with no justification to do so. Whether or not a certain area identifies as Russian doesn't give Russia any legitimate claim to that land. Nor does it give them the justification to come in and invade it. And now Donald Trump is getting rid of Ukrainian land without even involving the Ukrainian government in most of the negotiations with Putin. I think that that's a very unjust deal, and that means that you are ineffective at bringing both sides together. Yeah, sure.
Because you're talking about the reason him not bringing Zelensky, and I think that's important because when Zelensky, these deals were going on, and a couple months before, Zelensky didn't want these peace negotiations. He didn't want these ceasefires. And, I would agree with him in the sense that if somebody invaded my country, I wouldn't want to simply just give up. I'd want to fight them to the end.
Well, not only that, it's not just that.
I feel like we can all recognize that that's an unrealistic goal.
Well, no, this is an important thing. This is an important thing, is that the only reason he didn't just want to continue the fighting because Putin was invading his land. He wanted to continue the fighting because I'm pretty sure at the time Ukraine was making huge advancements into Russia and getting key pieces of land back. And right as soon as they're starting to come back, Donald Trump is trying to get a ceasefire put on to basically benefit Russia. I don't believe that's true. I've looked it up.
They have majority of Ukraine under their occupation, and since we've been sending them,
there's an interactive map that shows the land contests right now. Most of Ukraine is not being compromised by Russia. That's just not true.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I personally don't want my money being sent to missiles being launched into the Kremlin. I think that's a terrible thing, and that's the main reason why I say Trump's a good negotiator, and the fact that he isn't going to pick a side in this, whether you believe so or not. He's not going to pick a side. Majority of what he wants to do right now is just end the war, and we will deal with everything later.
Do you agree that if you want to, do you agree that if you want to stop sending missiles to Ukraine, the person that you would have to vote out is your congresspeople and not the president. The president has no authority to stop congressional funding.
And that's why I voted in my local elections too.
Okay, that's important, but
we're talking about Donald Trump here.
But saying that you voted for Donald Trump because you don't want your tax money going to this, Donald Trump has no authority over that. And Donald Trump is trying to claim authority over that, despite the fact that the Constitution gives him no authority to do that.
So when Biden finally signs off on an executive bill that allows that these congressmen have basically drafted up saying we're going to give billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine.
There's your difference. You already explained the difference.
But right. The president signs off on that final order.
But no, yes. Okay, but that's no. Stop. This is important. This is important. All right. I need you to stop. I need you to stop. The difference is that Joe Biden would be doing it with approval of Congress, with Congress drafting that first. Donald Trump is trying to get rid of the aid that we are sending to Ukraine unilaterally without congressional approval, just through Elon Musk. That's a completely separate thing.
Okay.
You can laugh. That is literally what he is doing. He is cutting U.S. aid.
Yeah, and U.S. aid is going to benefit Elon Musk in what way again?
I'm not talking about benefiting Elon Musk. I'm saying that Elon Musk is going through with Doge trying to slash government funding, and part of that is getting rid of U.S. aid. Do you disagree?
It's not getting rid of U.S. aid. And in fact, I think you should stop reading these left news articles that say he's going to completely get rid of it, because you have heard from the president and Elon Musk himself that they're not getting rid of U.S. aid, and they have extensively said that there are parts of U.S. aid are good. It's definitely hard to find. It was a lot better in the past. But I don't know how any person, left, right, middle, can look at that and look at what Trump read off during the congressional.
Tim, I don't want this. Tim, I don't want this. Stop. I don't want this to. I don't want this to devolve. I don't want this to devolve into disrespect. I would really appreciate if you would not criticize my reading into these issues when Elon Musk has said verbatim that he is feeding U.S. aid into a wood chipper. Okay, that is a verbatim quote from Elon Musk. I do not want you to litmus test me as if I don't know anything about this, when I guarantee I've read more about it than you have. All right, so I don't want you to criticize my knowledge on it. It is a fact. It is a fact that Elon Musk has said that he is feeding U.S. aid into a wood chipper, and he has said they have in fact, stop. No, it is that deep, because this is the fate of my country. So I need you to stop. This is the fate of my country.
Local is a lot important, so I feel like this federal stuff we're talking about isn't really that important.
I need you to stop. The point that I'm making is that Donald Trump is trying to unilaterally cut this funding. They lowered the workforce in U.S. aid. Can
Sir,
you
you're saying
please
it's
let me
funny,
finish
but
the
you need-
sentence?
but it's
Can you
important
please
that
let me
where
to
the
finish?
spending
Can
is
you
going,
please
but
let me
you're
finish
acting
the
like this is
sentence?
all going
Can
to the
you
right
please
thing
let
when
me
it's-
finish the sentence?
You're saying something in the wrong
I-
context.
no,
though. You're
I-
acting like this money is
That's
being
very
spent
weird.
to help people in countries that are falling apart, when in reality, it's going to fund transsexual TV shows
I
for little kids
need
in
you
Afghanistan.
to
That's wrong.
stop.
That's your money. That's my
I
money.
need you to stop. Let
That's
me
wrong.
finish the sentence, please.
Sure, that's wrong, though. Just wanted to let you know.
I didn't even make that claim, just so you know. Okay.
Well, you have to
Donald Trump has no authority to cut congressionally approved spending. Elon Musk said that he is feeding USAID into a wood chipper. They tried to pause all of the federal aid going into USAID and tried to fire the amount of people that work for USAID to the level of 250 workers for the entire federal agency. I need you to please stop acting like this is just targeting transgender TV shows and whatever. They paused all federal funding, period. Through the OMB memo. This is not just a couple things. This is not
and
just
that's what-
stopping
that's what
funding
a
to the TV
majority of
show.
Americans
All
voted for.
federal funding.
Dude, just because you yell on your phone doesn't make you any more right. And again, I agree with what you're saying. I want this to happen, and so does the majority of Americans.
Okay,
because
do you
that's why we
acknowledge?
voted
Do you
for Trump.
acknowledge that?
One of Trump's
No,
listen, you gotta
I'm
let
sorry.
me finish.
Didn't
'cause
you
just
just
talked for
say?
5
Didn't
minutes. You gotta
didn't
let
you
me say
just
something.
say that you voted for Donald Trump just because you didn't like Kamala Harris? Now you actually voted for him because you want him to overstep his
Well, that's
constitutional
not what I
bounds?
said. I said I voted for Trump because I didn't like Kamala, and he had a lot of better policies that I actually align myself
Okay,
with.
do you
and one
acknowledge-
of those policies,
do you
one
acknowledge-
of those policies would be cutting down the amount of government overreach that we have.
Do you acknowledge
And I
that
can
Trump
give you-
has
I can
no
give you a
authority to
great
do that?
example.
Do you
Dude,
agree
you're
that
just
Trump
gonna
has
yell at
no
me
authority to
because
do
you're not
that?
letting me talk.
Donald Trump has no authority to do that.
What?
He has no authority to cut spending. That's Congress's
Sure he
job. Okay,
And
show me.
who's the
Can
majority
you show
of
me?
Congress?
Can you
Let
show me?
Answer that to me right now. Who's the majority of Congress? Because I guarantee
Republicans.
you, if there was a bill proposed, it would pass. It would pass.
You just don't know how this
110%.
works. Okay,
I do
can you
know
show
how it
me
works,
where in
sir.
the Constitution that it says that the president can just halt funding that Congress passed? Can you show me where in the
I'm
Constitution
sorry?
it says that?
I'm sorry.
Can you show me where in the Constitution it says that the president can just stop congressionally passed funding?
He didn't do that though. is
He
what
did.
what you're trying to
Look
say.
up the OMB memo. He literally did freeze all federal funding. Period.
No, sir.
Look it up. Just because you don't have the information.
That's the problem. Is you're saying this in your squeaky voice. Look it up. But the fact of the matter is we're not going to have these computers by us 24/7, and that's the problem with people that
Okay.
online.
You
is
just
think
criticize me for only
think
reading
because-
liberal media when you just are proudly saying, "Oh, well, I can't know everything." Then why come up and debate me?
Well, because I have knowledge, and I'm going to go based.
You
off
don't
that
have knowledge. You proudly
I'm not
don't.
gonna-
You
I'm not gonna
proudly
speak
have no knowledge because you just said, "Oh, well, I can't have a computer by my side."
and it's funny
As
you
if,
say this
as
behind your
if,
little phone
as
screen, and I
if, as
guarantee
if.
for a
Yeah, I'm
fact
sure
if
you're
we
gonna
were
come and
talking-
beat me up, bud.
if we were
I'm
talking
sure you're gonna come and beat me
you'd
up.
have
I'm
a
sure
lot
you're.
more
I'm
respect
sure
for
you're gonna
me
come and beat me
than
up, buddy.
talking to me like a
I'm
little
sure. I'm
child.
sure you're gonna come and beat me up, buddy.
I mean, I can hear
So,
it in
just to
your
be
voice,
clear,
and it
just to be
explains why you're
clear,
Democrat.
you
Maybe you're
actually
pushing
have
more
no idea what
estrogen
you're
than you are
happening.
pushing testosterone,
You literally have
and that's
no
exactly
idea
why
what is
I vote
happening
for
in
the
your country,
Democratic
and you are
Party, sir.
destroying it. This is the reason why our country. This is why. This is the reason why I'm saying Trump is destroying the country. Is because you said,
wrong.
"Oh, I can't know everything."
you get
When
loud
I
doesn't
said,
make you right,
when
sir.
I said
You can keep
that.
yelling. It doesn't make you right.
Do you
See,
think that it
sound
wasn't
stupid
widely
now.
proposed?
You hear yourself and you calm down.
You have
for a
no.
second.
You have
sound
no idea
dumb.
what you're talking about. I'm so sorry. Do you?
Yeah, because you're
You
not
realize
listening.
how
You're just
widely
yelling at
reported?
me.
You realize how widely reported the federal funding freeze was, right?
we'll let you
that was
talk,
fun.
man.
That was literally. That was one of the biggest news stories in Trump's presidency so far. How do you not know that all of the federal funding was paused right as soon as Trump took office? That was one of the first things he did as president.
Are you done now?
Can you answer that?
Well, I just need to make sure you're done, because as soon as I start talking, you might start spurting.
Yeah, maybe.
I know. It's that estrogen.
Can
It's
you
the
answer that, though?
testosterone pills they got you on.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I can. And all majority of Americans who voted for him wanted this. So.
And that's what you're
Again,
always. You realize that the
we're-
majority of people
we're
voted for
coming down
Hitler
our
too,
gut.
right? Like that doesn't make what he did constitutional.
If you're comparing Hitler to Trump and what's happening now, that's exactly why the Democrats lost the
Okay.
election.
Oh wow,
It seems like
I've
the
never heard that
Democrats are
before.
running
Wow,
up
keep pearl clutching, dude.
Dude, it's literally what happened.
Can you
guys
tell me
tried
what-
call-
can you tell me the
just
point
tried
that I'm-
attacking Trump this
No,
whole time. That's
I'm
all you
not
guys have
attacking
done is attack Trump, and it turned out to do nothing.
Yeah, and
for
all
you
you're
guys.
doing is
But yet-
sucking his cock.
But yet you
You can't
Democrats
admit that
still
he's done
stand on this
anything
toilet
wrong.
bowl. you still stand on this totem pole like you guys have superiority.
Of not violating the Constitution.
When majority of Americans.
Tim, have
don't
you
align
read the
themselves with your
Constitution?
Ridiculous.
Tim, have you read the Constitution?
We don't
Tim,
care.
Tim, have you read the Constitution?
The only reason I came up here.
Have you read the Constitution?
I wanted to hear what you have to say.
Have you read the Constitution?
Of course I have, sir. I took an oath to the Constitution.
Okay, can you tell me where it says that the president can freeze congressionally passed funds?
It doesn't, because it
Okay,
doesn't say.
so why did Trump do it?
Because he can do that.
Okay. Okay, thanks, bud. I'm sure you're gonna come and beat me up. Okay, you guys can talk now. That was fucking...
You clear... Fuck.